January 2013. 21-year-old Elisa Lam left Vancouver, Canada, for a solo trip along the California coast. She was young, curious, hopeful. She wanted to see the world. A student at the University of British Columbia, Elisa had been open about her struggles with mental health on her blog, bipolar disorder, depression, but this trip seemed like a way to clear her mind. On January 26th, she arrived in Los Angeles and checked into the Cecil Hotel. At first glance, it looked like any budget downtown hotel, but the Cecil was far from normal. It had a history soaked in death, violence, and secrets. But Elisa wasn't scared. She had no idea what she'd walked into, and maybe she didn't care. 4 days later, she vanished. No goodbye, no checkout, no answers. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air. But what really happened would soon turn into one of the strangest true crime cases ever recorded. Security cameras inside the Cecil Hotel captured something that would haunt the internet forever. Elisa Lam was seen alone inside the elevator, her behavior unsettling. She steps in quickly, almost like she's being followed. Then she presses multiple buttons, floor after floor, but the elevator doesn't move. She peeks outside, cautiously, looks left, then right, jumps back in, hides in the corner. At one point, she steps out again, waving her arms strangely, like she's talking to someone invisible or trying to signal for help. Her hands move in bizarre, almost robotic gestures. It doesn't feel random. It feels like something is happening, but we can't see it. The doors stay open. Too long, much longer than normal. Then, she steps out, disappears to the left, and that's it. That's the last time Elisa Lam was ever seen alive. And that video, it went viral because something about it didn't just feel strange, it felt wrong. After her disappearance, hotel staff initially didn't panic. Elisa has switched from a shared room to a private one after her behavior reportedly made other guests uncomfortable. She would wander, talk to herself, or leave notes on others' beds. But by January 31st, her checkout day, she was nowhere to be found. Her parents, who were expecting her daily updates, immediately contacted the LAPD when she went silent. Police searched her room. Her things were still there: laptop, clothes, toiletries, but Elisa was gone. No signs of struggle. Surveillance was reviewed. That elevator footage was all they had. LAPD brought in scent dogs, searched every hallway, every stairwell, even the rooftop. Nothing, not a single clue. Guests were still staying in their rooms. Showers ran, toilets flushed. People drank the water, but behind it all, something horrific was brewing. A body was hidden in the one place no one thought to look. By mid-February, guests started to complain. The water pressure was low. The water had a strange taste. Some said it was dark. Others said it had an odd smell. Maintenance was sent to investigate. On February 19th, a worker climbed a ladder to the roof, opened one of the massive water tanks, and what he saw would shock the world. Floating inside was a body, naked, lifeless, bloated. It was Elisa Lam. Her clothes were found nearby, soaked. Her body had been decomposing for weeks. Guests had been drinking, brushing their teeth, and bathing in contaminated water. The tank was locked. The roof had a locked door and an alarm system. The only way up was with a key or code. So how did she get in? Why was the tank lid reportedly closed? And how had no one seen her go up there? These weren't just questions. They were red flash. To reach the water tanks, Elisa would have had to pass through multiple locked doors, each with alarms that alert staff if opened. There was no indication any alarm had gone off. Even if she made it to the roof, the tanks were massive, 8 feet tall, heavy metal lids. The maintenance worker had to use a ladder just to look inside. How did Elisa, 5'4" and 115 pounds, climb that alone? How did she open a heavy tank lid, get in, and close it behind her? Police say it's possible she climbed in during a manic episode, but experts and skeptics don't agree. It would be incredibly hard, physically and mentally, to do what she did alone. And even harder to believe no one saw or heard anything. The hotel had guests, staff, cameras, yet no footage exists of her reaching the roof.
No alarms went off.
That rooftop was a black hole in the investigation. Elisa Lam wasn't just a headline. She was a daughter, a sister, a student. She wrote online under the blog name Ether Fields, sharing thoughts on mental health, identity, and loneliness. She was open about her struggles, but also hopeful. She loved art, fashion, photography, and books. Her trip to California was a journey of self-discovery. San Diego, Santa Cruz, Los Angeles. She posted photos of food, beaches, shops, but beneath the surface, some entries hinted at a growing darkness. Was she spiraling? Was something wrong? She wrote once about feeling invisible, about wanting to disappear, but none of that explains how she ended up dead in a hotel's rooftop water tank. Her friends said she wasn't suicidal. Her family said she was doing better. So if she wasn't trying to end her life, then what really happened? And why did it happen in that hotel? The Cecil Hotel is no ordinary building. Since it opened in 1927, it's been linked to hundreds of crimes, suicides, and deaths. In the 1930s alone, over a dozen people jumped from windows. In the 1980s, serial killer Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, stayed there during his killing spree. Another killer, Jack Unterweger, murdered sex workers while living inside. The hotel has been called cursed, haunted. Some say the building attracts darkness, bad energy, evil. Strange things happen there, and they happen often. For years, the Cecil was a magnet for tragedy, drugs, violence, mental breakdowns. And now, Elisa Lam. Was it a coincidence? Or was she drawn into something much darker than she could understand? Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, one thing is clear: people die in the Cecil, and no one ever seems to notice until it's too late. When the elevator footage was released to the public, it exploded across the internet. Millions watched it within days. It was analyzed, frame by frame, every button press, every hand movement, every shadow. People claimed the video was edited, that seconds were missing, that someone had been digitally erased. Theories spread fast. Some believed Elisa was hiding from a real person, someone chasing her. Others said she was hallucinating. A few believed something paranormal was in that elevator with her. People compared her movements to symptoms of psychosis or possession. The toxicology report found nothing out of the ordinary. Traces of her medications were present, but in smaller amounts than expected. Some said this meant she had stopped taking her meds. Others argued the levels were just low due to decomposition. Either way, she wasn't under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So, what made her act that way in the elevator? Was it a manic episode? Maybe. But experts say it's rare for someone in that state to climb into a water tank and die accidentally. And still, no explanation for how she physically reached the tank. And then there's her phone. It was never found. No calls, no messages, nothing. Gone. Could someone have taken it? Could someone have watched her, waited, followed her, or worse, knew exactly how to make her death look like an accident? Too many details don't add up. The elevator footage appears to skip time. Why? Who edited it? Why wasn't the rooftop searched more thoroughly at first? Why didn't hotel staff realize something was wrong sooner? And the biggest question, who closed the tank lid? Police concluded that Elisa died by accidental drowning, but people weren't buying it. It felt rushed, incomplete. Her death became another unsolved mystery in a hotel full of them. In the Cecil Hotel, it kept running like nothing happened. Guests came and went. The tank was cleaned, but the questions never stopped. Something went very wrong in that building, and we may never know exactly what. Theories continued long after the case was closed. Some say a hotel worker did it. Others believe she was lured to the roof by someone she trusted. Then there's the elevator game theory, an urban legend where players follow a button sequence to enter another world. The steps, almost exactly what Elisa did. Was she playing it? Was she paranoid? Or did someone convince her it was real? Others point to her Tumblr activity. Posts continued to go up after her death. Was someone using her account? Or had she scheduled them in advance? Paranormal fans say the hotel itself has energy that manipulates people. Dark energy, evil, the kind that feeds off trauma. Whether you believe it or not, something about her case draws people in and never lets them go. It's hard to imagine Elisa Lam's final moments. The idea of her being alone on the rooftop of a downtown Los Angeles hotel in total silence. It's haunting. The water tanks were tall, slippery, and hard to reach. There were no stairs, no handles, just a narrow platform. For Elisa to climb up, remove the heavy lid, get inside, and then somehow drown, all without anyone hearing or seeing anything. It doesn't make sense. Some reports said the lid was open when her body was discovered. Others claimed it was closed. The maintenance worker who found her even said he had to lift it himself. If that's true, how did Elisa close it from the inside? Could she even reach it? The water inside was deep. There was no way out, no ladder, no space to breathe. She would have been trapped in the dark, freezing cold, with no one around. It's not just tragic, it's terrifying. It feels impossible, and yet it happened. After weeks of public outcry, online theories, and police investigation, the case was officially closed. The coroner ruled Elisa Lam's death as accidental drowning. No signs of physical trauma, no evidence of sexual assault, no struggle. That was it. Case closed. Her family filed a lawsuit against the Cecil Hotel for negligence, claiming the building was unsafe, but the court dismissed it, stating that Elisa had entered a restricted area on her own. Just like that, the most bizarre case of the decade ended in silence. No one was held responsible, no charges, no suspects. Her missing phone was never recovered. Her online accounts, including Tumblr, kept posting after her death, either scheduled in advance or something else entirely. The Cecil Hotel was rebranded. The water tanks were drained. Elisa Lam became just another story, another viral mystery, but nothing about it feels settled. It still lingers, because even with the cause of death, there was no closure. So now, we're left with one final, chilling question. What really happened to Elisa Lam? Was it a terrible accident, driven by mental illness, confusion, or fear? Or was she followed, trapped, silenced? Everything we know about the case still leaves too much unknown. The elevator footage, the locked rooftop doors, the tank lid, the missing phone, the lack of real evidence. It doesn't feel like a clear ending. It feels like a missing piece. And maybe that's the point. The Cecil Hotel continues to operate under a new name, trying to leave its past behind. But the truth is still buried somewhere in that building. Elisa Lam walked into the Cecil Hotel full of life. She never walked out. And what happened between those walls may never be fully understood. Maybe she was a victim of her own mind, or maybe she was a victim of something much darker. Either way, we may never get the truth, and that's what makes it all so disturbing. What do you think really happened to Elisa Lam? An accident or something much darker? Drop your theory in the comments below. Your answer might be the key to unlocking this mystery. And if you don't want to miss the next clue, hit subscribe now. The next case is even more mysterious.